Good morning, everyone. Uh, Today we are going to discuss the second part of our topic, that is disorder of growth. And last time we discussed the basic of growth and development and how to measure various anthropometric parameters. In this lecture, we will mainly discuss short stature, and I will uh, share with you few slides about growth chart. Okay, let's start. Growth charts are very important part of pediatric examination or pediatric assessment, and these are often ignored in our OPD practice. And so, but these are important because from growth charts we can assess the present status of the baby or a patient, and we can foresee also if there is any problem regarding growth and development of the baby is going to occur in the near future. So growth charts are graphical representation of anthropometric parameters. This is not a new thing. In 1977, the first growth charts were there. That was by NCHS growth chart. These are the oldest. That used to be the only growth chart for many years. In 2000, CDC in America, they designed their growth charts. They were considered as a standard for assessing the nutritional status. But the real breakthrough came in 2006 when WHO, they made their own growth chart. WHO growth charts are preferred growth charts all over the world, but mainly for under 5 children. They are preferred because they are based on MGRS, that is multi-centric growth reference study, that was conducted across the 6 countries. 6 countries were India, Brazil, Oman, Norway, Ghana, and USA. So you can see from all the continents, different countries were chosen, and then they developed these growth charts. Now these are the standards, and they are mainly used for assessing the malnutrition. The peculiar thing about these growth chart was in these growth charts, only those babies were enrolled when they were being studied who were exclusively breastfed. All the previous growth charts were from formula-fed babies. So these growth charts are more close to our population. And WHO growth charts are available for various parameters like weight for age, weight for height, height for age, head circumference for age, mid-arm circumference for age, even for skin fold thickness for age, and for BMI for age. Separate growth charts are available for boys and girls. Why we say these are better for under 5, not above that, because more than 5-year age, WHO growth charts are not based on MGRS study, but those growth charts are based on previous study only. Now the charts are of 2 types. One is percentile based, second is Z-score based, standard deviation based. If we are going to use growth charts beyond 5-year of age, then IAP growth charts are preferred in India. Various other growth charts are also available like KN Agarwal growth charts, but they are not much in use nowadays. Now, okay, we will now move on to our topic for today, that is short stature. Short stature definition: height below 3rd percentile or less than 2 standard deviation below the median height for that age, and sex according to the population standard is short stature. Or even if height is within the normal percentile, but growth velocity is consistently below 25th percentile over 6 to 12 month period of observation is also called short stature. Okay. The term dwarfism is no longer used for short stature. It is now obsolete. Growth physiology, the moment fertilization takes place in the uterus, the height of the baby is destined. Means genetically, baby is destined to gain whatever height. It depends on the mother and father. But environment, dietary factors, and hormones definitely affect the ultimate height of the baby. Environment, if the baby is living in environment where food is not sufficient, then definitely he's not going to achieve the destined height. Dietary factor, if the food is scarce and there is a competition for food, that will also affect the height of the baby. Hormones, if there is any imbalance or deficiency of growth hormone, thyroid hormone, gonadotropins, that will affect the height of the baby. So growth, physiology, genetic factor, environment, dietary factor, and hormones all affect the ultimate height of the baby or growth of the baby. Causes of short stature. Type A is normal variants, familial genetic short stature. Second is constitutional delay in growth and puberty. Second part is proportionate short stature of prenatal onset. In this case, there is intrauterine growth restriction, which may be due to placental insufficiency disorders like maternal toxemia, diabetes mellitus. Second could be intrauterine infection like torch infections. Even teratogens like alcohol, nicotine, and various drugs can cause short stature. Then there is genetic disorders, quite common, like chromosomal anomalies, Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome. Then there is dysmorphic syndromes, that is Russell-Silver syndrome and Sacco syndrome. Third type is proportionate short stature of postnatal onset. Now the causes are going to be after the baby, like undernutrition. Baby may be having chronic infection like tuberculosis, cardiac disorders like congenital cyanotic heart disease, chronic congestive failure. Then there is pulmonary disorder like cystic fibrosis or chronic asthma. As you can see in the list, all the diseases are chronic in nature, and chronic diseases are going to definitely affect the growth of the baby. If we see renal disorder, RTA, chronic renal failure, steroid-dependent nephrotic syndrome, then if we go to GI system and hepatic disorder, celiac disease, this is very common in our part of the country, then malabsorption, irritable bowel disease, chronic liver disease, hematologically, thalassemia and sickle cell anemia, endocrinal disorder, Cushing syndrome, diabetes mellitus, hypothyroidism, growth hormone deficiency, hypogonadism, pseudo hypoparathyroidism, psychosocial short stature, that is emotional deprivation. That is also a very important cause of short stature in our part of the country. Now, last part is disproportionate short stature. It means the upper part and the lower part of the body is not in proportion. With the short limbs, that is achondroplasia, hypochondroplasia, chondrodysplasia, chondroectodermal dysplasia, diastrophic dysplasia, metaphyseal chondrodysplasia, deformities due to osteogenesis imperfecta, and refractory defects. In this case, the limbs are short and the upper part is comparatively longer. When the trunk is short as compared to limbs, then there is spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, mucolipidosis, mucopolysaccharidosis, caries spines, and hemivertebra. So you can say there are plenty of reasons which can cause short stitches. Okay. Now, that is in tabular form or in a logarithm form, causes of short stature disproportionate. Then we will show if the short limbs are there, as I already told you, achondroplasia, hypochondroplasia. If the trunk is short, then spondoepiphyseal dysplasia and mucopolysaccharidosis. If proportionate, now main thing is whenever we are going to see a case of short stature, we need to decide whether it is a disproportionate short stature or proportionate short stature. According to this classification, we will move forward. Like in proportionate short stature, there is physiological, familial, and constitutional short stature, IUGR, intrauterine infection, genetic disorder, nutritional dwarfism, chronic system illness, endocrine disorder, or psychosocial short stature. How to assess the case of short stature? Okay, first thing is we will have to measure the height. We should measure height very accurately. If the child is less than 2 years, we will take supine length should be measured by infantometer. And for the older children, stadiometer should be used. Assessment of the height velocity. It is expressed as centimeter per year. If the growth velocity is less than expected, child is more likely to be suffering from pathological short stature. Now, if we want to measure the height velocity, then growth charts are very handy because we need to have a record of baby's height over a period of time. Only then we will be able to assess what is the velocity of the growth. So ideally, every patient in the pediatric OPD should have growth chart attached to OPD slip because it is very important. Only then we will be able to diagnose the malnutrition in the early stage. Now about height velocity, gain of height is 25 centimeter in the first year. Like if the baby is 53 centimeter or 50 centimeter at the birth, he will be around 73, 74 at the 1 year age. Then 12.5 centimeter in the second year, half of the first year. Then 6 to 7 centimeter in 3 to 4 years. And afterward, 5 centimeter every year until the pubertal growth spurt occurs. 25 in the first year, 12.5 in the second year, 6 to 7 centimeter in third and fourth year, and then 5 centimeter every year. Gain during adolescence, that is for girls, it is 8 centimeter per year, but the time period is 12 to 16 years. It is 10 centimeter per year for boys during the 14 to 18 years. So expected height up to 12 years is in inches, age in years into 2.5 plus 30. Like if the baby is, if the child is 6 years old, then 6 into 2.5, it will be 15, 15 plus 30, 45 inches. And we can convert 45 inches into centimeter, it will turn out to be around 112 centimeters. Okay, comparison with the population norm. Height should be plotted on the appropriate growth charts and expressed in centile as standard deviation score. Now, Z score is calculated using the formula child's height minus mean height for the age. It is to be divided by one studied SD of the height for that age. That is complicated, but we can draw it on growth chart. Only then we can see where the height lies on the growth chart. Comparison with child's own genetic potential. This is important. Parents' height significantly affect the child's height. Mid-parental height gives an approximate estimate of child's genetically determined potential. So, when the fertilization takes place in the uterus on that day, on that very day, the height of the baby is decided more or less. Mid-parental height for boys is mother's height plus father's height divided by 2 plus 6.5 centimeters. In case of girls, instead of adding plus 6.5, we deduct 6.5. Mother's height plus father's height divided by 2 minus 6.5 centimeters. This value is plotted on the growth chart at 18 to 20 years of age. This gives an estimate of target height for the child and the percentile that she will follow. So we will have the target and then we will decide how the growth chart or growth curve of the baby is going. Assessment of the body proportion. Short stature can be divided into proportionate and disproportionate. Disproportionate assessed by upper segment to lower segment ratio and comparison of arm span and height. Lower segment is obtained by measuring the length from the pubic symphysis to the ground when the child is standing erect. And upper segment is obtained by subtracting lower segment from the total height. Okay, pubic symphysis to the ground, and then we will deduct it from the total height. Upper segment, lower segment ratio, it is increased in recurrent achondroplasia, untreated hypothyroidism, and it decreases in spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia and vertebral anomalies. Now, interpretation, this ratio is different for different ages. At birth, it is 1.7, progressively it decreases. At 3 years, it is 1.3. At 6 years, it is 1.1, and at exactly 10 years, it is equal. 1 means upper segment and lower segments are equal at the age of 10 years. In an adult, it is 0.9. So now the legs are longer than the upper segment. Arm span is the length between the tips of middle finger of the outstretched hands, while the person is standing straight with the both arms extended. It is shorter than length by 2.5 centimeter at birth. So now it equals the height at 11 years. Now we can see that upper segment and lower segment are equal at 10 years, and arm span is equal to height at the age of 11 years. Thereafter, it is slightly greater than height. Sexual maturity rating, when we are dealing with a baby who is in the more than 10, 12 year old, then we need to rate stage the baby according to SMR. It is also known as Tanner staging. Total 5 stages are included in this each gender. So this is important because precocious puberty can lead to early height spurt. Maybe the baby is only 8 or 9 year old and he or she is much taller than his peer group. But SMR's rating is telling us that this is precocious puberty, then the scenario is entirely different. On the other hand, delayed puberty can present with short stature and adolescent. This is common in children with constitutional delay in growth. Now, diagnosis. When we get a case of short stature, we need to get detailed history right from the antenatal history, birth history, everything we need to carefully ask. Then careful examination, then laboratory evaluation. Clue to the etiology of short stature from history. Now, if the baby is LBW, then maybe he is small for gestational age. Not gaining weight, undernutrition, weight gain is with lethargy and constipation. Maybe he is lethargic and constipated, and there is weight gain. But it may be the case of hypothyroidism, which will affect the growth ultimately. Then history of passage of offensive greasy stools that can help us in diagnosing malabsorption. History of headache, vomiting, and visual problem. It means we may be dealing with pituitary or hypothalamic tumor. History of neonatal hypoglycemia, jaundice, and micropenics. That is growth hormone deficiency sign. And if there is history of polyuria, we may be dealing with chronic renal failure and renal tubular acidosis. Then when we do the examination, if the Disproportionate short stature, skeletal dysplasia, rickets, and hypothyroidism should be there. Maybe there. Dysmorphism. When we see the baby's face is not normal, we may be dealing with congenital syndrome. Goiter, coarse skin, hypothyroidism, central obesity and striae, that points towards Cushing syndrome. Hypertension, very important to take the blood pressure. It may be the only sign of chronic renal failure. Pallor, it may be due to chronic anemia, chronic renal failure. Now, frontal bossing, depressed nasal base, crowded teeth, and small penis. It is again the sign of growth hormone deficiency. As we can see, there are plenty of clues in history and examination which can give us some sort of idea about the etiology of the short stature. Now, pointers to the etiology of the short stature. Like if there is midline defect, micropenis, frontal bossing, depressed nasal base, and crowded teeth, growth hormone deficiency. Rickets, we know it can be due to renal failure, RTA, or malabsorption. Pallor, again, renal failure, malabsorption, nutritional anemia. If the baby is malnourished, then we may be dealing with protein energy malnutrition, again malabsorption, cystic fibrosis, celiac disease. Now, if the baby is obese and short stature, then we are dealing with some sort of Cushing syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, and most important, hypothyroidism. Metacarpal shortening. It means baby is having some sort of chromosomal disorder like Turner syndrome or pseudo-hypoparathyroidism. If the baby is having cardiac murmur, it may be due to congenital heart disease or Turner syndrome. And if the baby is mentally retarded, then we may be dealing with hypothyroidism, Turner syndrome, Down syndrome, etc. Now, next is familial short stature. Child is short, definitely. Height is less than third centile. But if he is normal according to his own genetic potential as determined by parents' height. Now, parents are short, so the baby is destined to get not a very good height. So he is short, but he is normal for his parents' height. So normal height and weight at birth, and then show a catch-up down growth between birth and second year of age. Body proportion is appropriate, and bone age is equal to chronological age. Then there is family history of short stature. Now the puberty will be achieved at appropriate age, and final height is low, but it is within target. Now second is constitutional growth delay. Now these babies are born with a normal length and weight. They grow normally up to 6 to 12 months of age, but then the growth shows a deacceleration so that the height and growth falls below third centile for age. By 2 to 3 years, height velocity again accelerate, and then they continue to grow just below and parallel to the third centile with a normal height velocity. Onset of puberty is delayed. History of delayed puberty and delayed height spurt is usually present in one or both parents. Bone ages in this case, it is less than chronological age. Comparison. Now there is a comparison table where we can see the difference between familial short stature and constitutional short stature. Sex, both are affected in familial, and in case of constitutional, it is more common in more common in boys. Length at birth is normal in case of familial. Again, in case of constitutional. Family history, there is short stature history, but in constitutional, it is delayed puberty. Parents are short in this case, but average in this case of constitutional short stature. Height velocity normal in both the cases. Puberty is normal in case of familial, but it is delayed. Now, main age difference is bone age is equal to chronological age, and it is more than height age. एक कप और रहा क्या? Bone age is equal to chronological age. In the case of constitutional, chronological age is more than final height, short but normal for target height. In this case, constitutional, it is normal. Now, level of investigations. We should be very careful about the investigation we are going to add. If the height is more than or equal to 2 standard deviation, no investigations are required. So you see, we are very much, we can see that growth charts are absolute necessity in case of short stature. Without that, we can't decide anything. If the height is between 2 SD and 3 SD, we should monitor the growth velocity for 6 to 12 months. If height is less than 3 standard deviation, then go for immediate investigation. So if it is more than 2 standard deviation, no investigation. If it is between 2 and 3, we should monitor the velocity. And if it is less than 3 standard deviation, we will go for immediate investigation. Now, investigations are of different types. Development investigations are complete hemogram with ESR, then bone age, definitely we need to measure, then urine analysis, microscopic pH osmolality, then stools, parasites, examination for parasites, tutoria, cord blood, we will go examine for urea, creatinine, calcium, phosphate, alkaline phosphatase, gas, venous gases, fasting sugar, albumin, and transaminase. Bone age assessment should be done in all children with short stature. Radiograph of the left hand and wrist should be taken. So remember, left hand and wrist. Bone age is delayed as compared to chronological age in almost all causes of short stature, except familial. Okay, if the bone age is equal to chronological age, it is familial short stature. And in precocious puberty, rather bone age is more than chronological age. Okay? In all other cases, bone age is less than chronological age. In constitutional delay and undernutrition and systemic illness, bone age is less than chronological age, and it corresponds to height and age. In case of growth hormone deficiency and hypothyroidism, bone age is less than height age. Now we need to do the skeletal survey to be done in all children with disproportionate short stature. It is done to rule out. Skeletal dysplasia and defects. Level 2 investigations. Serum thyroxine, TSH, karyotyping to rule out Turner syndrome in girls. If above investigations are normal and height between 2 to 3, observe the height velocity for 6 to 12 months. If height is less than 3 standard deviation, then we will go to level 3 investigations. Level 3 investigations are celiac serology, growth hormone stimulation test, MRI brain focused on pituitary and hypothalamus. Management. Now, management is very important. Counseling of the parents is the main thing for physiological causes like reassurance, annual monitoring of height and weight. They should be reassured about the innocuous nature of the disease. Dietary advice is must. Recommended doses of micronutrients and macronutrients should be prescribed in case of undernutrition, celiac disease. Limb lengthening procedure can be advised in extreme cases if there is skeletal dysplasia, levothyroxine in hypothyroidism cases, growth hormone subcutaneous injection in case of growth hormone deficiency, Turner syndrome, small for gestational age, CRF prior to transplant. That is important. If growth hormone is low, give recombinant growth hormone at a dose of 0.07 to 0.1 international unit per kg per day subcutaneous till adequate growth is achieved. If human growth hormone levels are more than 10, that exclude growth hormone deficiency. Pituitary hypothalamic axis is investigated, then we inject TRH. If there is increase in thyroxine releasing, if TSH increases and prolactin also increases, then that is region of hypothalamus. If there is no response, it means lesion is in pituitary. Now, finally, we are to a table or a logarithmic representation. We can see, we will take the history and physical examination, and we will assess the growth rate. If the growth rate is less than 4 centimeter per year, then we will assess the bone age. If it is normal, then it is means familial short stature. If the growth rate is bone age is delayed, we will assess the thyroid function. If the normal thyroid function, we will assess growth hormone secretion. If normal or low T4, high TSH, then primary hypothyroidism, treat with thyroxine. If it is normal or low TSH, presumed hypopituitarism, we need endocrinology consultation. But if the growth rate is more than 4 centimeter, then we will assess the bone age. If it is normal, then again this is familial short stature. If it is delayed, then this is maybe due to constitutional delay. Now the last thing is, we can see if it is a normal thyroid function, endocrinology consultation is abnormal. It may be due to isolated growth hormone deficiency. But if the growth hormones are normal, then we will give the trial. If it is growth is there, it means growth hormone was bioinactive. If there is no growth, we assess the somatostatin generation. That is, if it is normal, then idiopathic growth failure. If it is abnormal, then Laron dwarfism. Okay. From this algorithm, we can see how to proceed in a case of short stitch. Thank you very much.